Has Raila Odinga's ruthless political ambition for the presidency changed his original political ideology? Some would say yes, others would argue no. In this short video, I'm looking at both arguments and providing you with perspective so you can decide for yourself whether Baba has really changed his political ideology. Just like his father before him, Raila Odinga believes in African socialism. This kind of political ideology started with early African leaders like Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Pio Gama Pinto, Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, among others. This kind of economic and political ideology aims to spread out equally not just political power but also economic resources in a given country. This will be done so that every citizen meets their basic and even secondary needs. For men like Odinga, Nyerere, Pio Gama Pinto, Nkrumah and others, African socialism would be our own version of Chinese communism or Russian communism. The other idea was to prevent a dystopian capitalistic society like we see today, where one Kenyan has 2 homes, 2 cars, 2 everything, while another Kenyan cannot even afford a meal in a day. However, in the end, capitalism, the system that allows the strongest to steal from the weakest, won the day, and their poster boy at that time was none other but first President Jomo Kenyatta. Once Kenyatta and his Western friends had established a capitalist Kenya, he then started to mentor others like Arap Moi, who would then perpetuate this capitalistic dystopia after Kenyatta. After Raila helped Moi Kibaki to topple the Moi regime in the 2002 elections, many Kenyans hoped that Raila, now in the steps of his father, would help Kibaki reduce the inequality that came with the regime's capitalism and instead help alleviate poverty and steer Kenya towards a better economic system that would be different from that which was created by Moi and his oligarchs. But to the disappointment of those Kenyans, those oligarchs who had tried again to instill Uhuru Kenyatta as the successor of Moi in 2002 without success had infiltrated Kibaki's first government and instead made Kibaki their new puppet. Just like it was during Kenyatta and Moi times, more land, resources and money and power were now concentrated more than ever in the hands of very few people from very few tribes. Over the last 2 decades, private corporations like Safaricom have grown to dominate and control government, all the while monopolizing key markets and milking money out of Kenyans. Meanwhile, legacy state corporations like Kenya Power and Lighting Company KPLC are collapsing and being looted to the ground. The Nusu Mkati government with Kibaki and Raila made tremendous steps in swinging the doors open for many Kenyans who had been locked out of the national feast. But as the presidency seemed to be more elusive for him, Raila Odinga seems to have gone to bed with men richer than Kenya itself in a bid to forge meaningful alliances that would help him ascend to the house on the hill. The sons and friends of the same men who had chosen greed and capitalism over African socialism and sent his father Jaramogi to a near political oblivion. I recently saw a politically confusing video of South African firebrand politician Julius Malema warning and calling out Raila to stop demonstrations and let William Ruto rule. What seemed, at least to me, strange about Malema's support for William Ruto is that Malema's own EFF party is anti-capitalist, pro-communist party. Ruto is, however, an open friend of the West's capitalism, Joe Biden, and that is the reason why he skipped on the Russia-Africa summit. Some pundits argue that Raila Odinga's decision over time to conform and change his original political ideology so that to be able to work with others in his bid for the presidency has somehow watered down and withered his original firebrand as the Julius Malema of the 1980s. The young, charismatic, smart Raila Odinga who gave Moi sleepless nights.